This meeting is being recorded.
Today, we're looking at the Salesforce Field Service Lightning mobile application. We will walk through the steps to load the application from the Google Play and Apple stores, log in, and create your Salesforce passcode to access Field Service Lightning. We'll also review the features of Salesforce FSL and examine the way FSL is used to document the work being done in homes and businesses every day. The first part of the webinar is a review of the loading and access information. This info is also available in a PDF and is located in the Assemblers Inc. library. Log into the AI web portal and access the Assemblers Inc. library under the employee header. Scroll down and tap or click on the link titled Salesforce Field Service Lightning. Load and log in for the technician. To load Salesforce FSL on an Android device, access the Google Play Store. Type Field Service Lightning into the search bar and choose the application option pictured. Tap the Install button, wait for the application to load, and then tap the Open button. Next are the permissions, which include the agreement for the use of Salesforce Field Service Lightning, as well as the use of the device, camera, data, and GPS. Once the permissions have been allowed, FSL will ask for a Salesforce passcode to be created and entered again for authentication. Use the Technician ID as the Salesforce passcode and enter it twice. Loading Field Service Lightning on an Apple device is very similar. Access the App Store and sign in with the Apple ID and password. Use the search function and type in Field Service Lightning, then tap the Get button when the option pictured appears. Now tap Install and wait for the application to load. When the application is loaded, tap the Open button. Tap Get Started and then the Login button. Once logged in with the ID provided and the passcode created, the licensing and permission screens will appear. Review and choose I accept to agree to the licensing requirements for Salesforce Field Service Lightning. Next, tap Allow to grant permission for device use, and then enter the Technician ID to create the Salesforce passcode. You will need to re-enter the Technician ID to confirm the Salesforce passcode. Carefully review each permission screen to turn on, enable, or allow GPS functions, real-time data, camera use, and notifications. If you have questions about Field Service Lightning, please reach out to training@assemblersinc.net. If you are experiencing issues with accessing Field Service Lightning, use the Reset option in the app login page or reach out to tech support@assemblersinc.net. Congratulations on loading the Field Service Lightning application and logging in. Now we're ready to walk through Field Service Lightning's features and functions. So apologies, but I'll be switching from my desktop view to my mobile app view. As you can see, I've already loaded the Field Service Lightning onto my device, and I've already accessed it. In fact, work is already assigned to me as a technician. Once you've successfully logged into Field Service Lightning, the landing page will be the Daily Service Appointments page, also known as the Schedule page. Currently, as a security measure, you can't see that the device has asked me to type in my Salesforce passcode, my technician ID. This is the service appointment page. Service appointments represent the time booked and set aside to perform the work requested by the customer, whether it's delivery, assembly, repair, or some combination. During the daily service appointments, the body of the page is the schedule of appointments for that day. Also visible at the top of the page is the calendar icon in the upper right corner of the screen. This allows the user to see the month. Tap on the icon to see the calendar view. Today's date will be indicated with a circle around the number. Arrows at the top of the calendar on either side of the month will allow the user to see the prior month or the next month. At the bottom of the calendar, the user can tap to see today on the left or tomorrow on the right. Each date listed with a dot underneath the date indicates service appointments are scheduled for that day. Tap on the date to bring up the service appointment scheduled for that day. To go back to the schedule view, tap on the part of the screen not covered by the calendar. At the bottom of the service appointment or schedule page are menu options for the schedule, inventory, and user profile. We'll return to the schedule view in a few minutes. The inventory view allows the user time and details for taking inventory. This function is not currently in use for Assemblers Incorporated, but may be added in later. The profile view provides basic user information. To access any of the view options, tap on them. Back to the schedule page, the view is divided into two expandable sections, the map, the top of the page, and the scheduled appointments. The map shows the route from where the user is to the next appointment on the schedule. Expand the map by tapping on the small icon with arrows in the lower right corner of the map view. Go back to the schedule screen by tapping on the X in the upper left corner of the screen. In the scheduled appointments section, each appointment has menu options indicated by small dots in a vertical line. There will always be 3 small dots in a vertical line to indicate menu options. You can also tap directly on the appointment info to open the view. Opening the menu options for the appointment in this view, the only thing accessible is driving directions from the user's current location to the appointment location using Google Maps. As before, tap on another part of the screen to get out of that option. Tapping on the service appointment itself, the date or the time, brings up more detailed information about the work to be performed. I'm actually going to access something that is scheduled in the future. The service appointment scheduled for Saturday. If the service appointment is the scheduled time set aside to do the work order represents the entire record of work scheduled, service appointments set aside, and line items. The work order line item is the detail about the customer, product involved, and the work to be done. Tapping the service appointment opens the work order or the work order line item view. Technicians will work off of the work order line item view to complete the service and to provide documentation of the service completion. In the work order line item page, the information available is divided into the tabs in the upper portion of the screen as the overview, detailed, related items, and feed. The Overview tab is where most of the user activity is documented, and we'll return to it in a few minutes. The Details tab summarizes all current information for the work order line item. You can review any tab by tapping on the title. As you can see, the Details tab is just a synopsis of the information from the time that the work order entered into the system to its current status. The Related tab includes all additional information tied to the work order line item, such as special skills required or additional service appointments needed to complete the work. Each additional section in the Related tab can be accessed to show details about the skills or added service appointments by tapping on them. The Feed tab functions much like social media platforms, or even a chat function inside of the Salesforce desktop and the mobile Field Service Lightning applications. As you can see, the Feed tab records all activity for the work order line item. Back to the Overview tab. This view is divided into sections, including the menu options, map and driving directions, or the service report. Notice that the actions remain at the bottom of the page regardless of which tab is on display, whether you are in the Overview, the Details, Related, or the Feed. The Actions option remains the same. Looking at the actions at the bottom of the screen, the user has the ability to capture an image, create a new task, create a new event, or another way to look at the work order line item detail. For capture an image, the original purpose was to allow the user to document the work done inside the order with pictures. Think about product repair and parts replacement, or two-stage basketball assembly. Every service appointment requires images of the work completed, even picking up product from the store. Unfortunately, capture an image is not currently accessible in Field Service Lightning. So pictures of work, receipts, parts, and other information must continue to be emailed to invoice@assemblersinc.net and must include the work order number in the subject line of the email. More information about this will be shared at the end of the webinar. To exit capture an image, tap on the X in the upper left corner of the screen. Note that the work order number is visible in Field Service Lightning in the purple header at the top of the work order line item screen, directly underneath the work order line item number. Again, in the Actions options. Creating a new task allows the user to notify the sales or service teams at the National Field Support Center that the information or work documentation needs to be updated. An example is adding a helper to the documentation so that he or she can be correctly paid for the assistance provided. To create a new task, the user taps Create a New Task and a pop-up appears. As an example, to add in a helper, the user makes the subject Assign Helper, includes the helper name, and tech ID, as well as the piece rate that the helper will make for assisting with the job. The due date is always today, so that the assignment will happen in time for the completed work to be credited to correct technicians or tech and helper. So tapping on the due date option and then saying OK will assign today as the date. Tapping an Assigned To allows the user to type in the dispatcher's name or to choose an individual already on the drop-down list showing on the screen. Save the action by tapping the Save button in the upper right corner of the screen. Note that the Add a Task or Create a New Task function for helper assignments will only be used by W-2 technicians and by IHCs directly employed by Assemblers Incorporated. Network partners and 1099 independent contractors will not use Create a New Task in order to assign a helper for a job. To document the customer's agreement that the work has been completed, the user taps on Create Service Report to access the signature section and generate the service report as the record of the completed work. This is accessible by tapping on Show Actions This is accessible by scrolling or tabbing up the screen to create the service report above the Show Actions option. Tap on the words Create Service Report. In order to have the customer to sign the document, you'll tap on Get Default Signature. Follow the on-screen instructions. The device will explain that you should hand your phone or tablet to the default. The default is the customer. Once you've explained that the customer will type in their name and then sign, you can tap the Sign and Confirm button, hand your device off to your customer to have them type in their names, and sign in the box. The customer can sign with a finger, Or, if your device has a stylus, the customer can also sign with the stylus. Once the customer is satisfied with his or her signature, they'll tap the Save button at the bottom of the screen. The screen instructs the customer to hand the device back to you. You are the service resource. You are the service resource. You'll tap the Done button, and now you can view the service report. In order to do so, you'll tap the button at the bottom of the screen that says Generate Service Report. The device will process the information and create a PDF, which stands as the service report, now accessible at the top of the work order line item. Additionally, the technician or user can now go back to the actions and change the service appointment status from in progress to completed. Tap on the actions to open, pull the screen up, tap on Change Service Appointment Status. The status changes to the Completed option by tapping on the Completed button and saving the information. To view the service report, tap on the PDF icon at the top of the screen. The document will show the details of the service along with the customer's typed name and signature. Additionally, the document can be emailed to the customer if they choose by tapping on the dot and line icon in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. The dot and line icon looks like a triangle on its side but missing its bottom. This is actually called the share icon. You can share the file by choosing your email to email the information to your customer. Type in the customer's email address and hit send. A copy of the report is now on its way to the customer's email. The customer signed service report showing the completed work, as well as the change in appointment status from in process to completed, is all the documentation required in Field Service Lightning. Additionally, the user will email invoice@assemblersinc.net with the images captured showing the progression and/or completed work. As identified earlier, the work order number must be in the subject line of the email. If you have questions about use of Salesforce Field Service Lightning, you can email training@assemblersinc.net. Again, capture an image is not currently accessible in Salesforce Field Service Lightning. Pictures of work, including receipts, parts, or any other required documentation must be emailed to invoice@assemblersinc.net. Those emails must include the work order number in the subject line of the email. The work order number is visible in Field Service Lightning in the purple header at the top of the screen directly underneath the work order line item number. For questions regarding access to Field Service Lightning, use the Login Reset option on the login page of the mobile application, or email techsupport@assemblersinc.net.